Welcome to Board Game Casual. In a perfect world, I'd have unlimited space to store games and unlimited time to play them. I'd have a huge house with a dedicated Hogwarts-sized library of games, or at least an awesome basement setup like Game Boy Geek. But in real life, my shelf space is limited. And so to make room for new games, every so often I go through my collection, face facts about games I don't think will ever make it back to the table, and cull them from the shelf. So in this video, I thought I'd share with you 10 games that'll be leaving my collection. Let's get to it.
Real quick, I'd like to thank FELTECTORS for sponsoring this video. FELTECTORS makes awesome, affordable neoprene game mats, poker mats, felt table toppers, and more. They offer an array of sizes and colors, making it easy to pick the perfect game mat for your table. And trust me, nothing elevates the gaming experience more than having a nice surface to game on. FELTECTORS products are available on Amazon, or check out all they have to offer at FELTECTORS.com, where you can save $5 off of any order with coupon code OFF5 BoardGameCasual. Okay, back to the video.
We'll start with an easy one to justify, Box 1. Box 1 is an escape room style game co-designed by Neil Patrick Harris. It's a one-time experience, which means once you finish the game and solve the puzzle, it's over. You can't play it again. Overall, it was a fun game. My girlfriend and I played it together, and I recommend it if you're curious about these escape room in a box style games and are looking for a good place to start. This is a great one with some mind-blowing things that I can't really talk about or it'll spoil the surprise. Kudos to the makers of Box 1 because they actually provide instructions on how to reset the game after you've completed it so someone else can give it a go. I finally reset the game, so it's time to hand this one off to someone else. I'm pretty excited because this is a pretty big box, so it'll free up a lot of room. Next up, we have Among the Stars. I got this one a couple years ago as a gift, and while it's a good game, I think coming into this one so late, it just felt a little dated by today's standards. We played it once, and it's just never made it to the table again. It's also a game that in some ways feels similar to Roll for the Galaxy for me, and honestly, I would just rather play Roll for the Galaxy, so this one will be leaving the shelf. This is another one I got as a gift. Here to Slay is a little card game that has a ton of take that. If you like games where you've been saving up for a big move to play a card, and then someone else plays a card that's like, nope, your card's blocked. And then you try to play another card, and nope, that's blocked too. Then you play a card and it's like, oh, that damage you were about to do? Well, it's reversed back to you. Then Here to Slay might be for you. It just wasn't a game for me. Generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of Take That. It really depends on the game and sort of the style of Take That that's in the game. But Here to Slay, a good game, just not for me. Here we have Bang. This is a little social deduction game I got early on, way back as I was first starting to venture into other games beyond Settlers of Catan. Even back then, I think Bang was considered a classic. This game never really worked with my friends and I, or at least we never really found the fun playing it. I've come to realize that social deduction in particular is very group dependent. This game has been collecting dust forever, but it's such a small game, I never really had an urgency in getting rid of it. Plus, I figured maybe someday I'd find a party situation where it makes sense to give this one another go. But I have so many other games now that scratch a similar itch, I may as well make as much room on the shelf as I can. Speaking of classics, the next game I'm getting rid of is Carcassonne. This is another game that I got early on. Back then, people would say, oh, you love Catan? You've gotta play Carcassonne. But I personally never really cared much for this game. My girlfriend likes it a lot more than I do, so I've kept it around, but I think even she these days would rather play something like Cascadia. And yeah, this game is old, but I got the game with that corner already damaged courtesy of Amazon. Thanks, Amazon. Here's one I'm excited to get rid of because of how much room it'll save. Heroes of Barcadia. This game was a generous gift from some friends who knew I was into both board games and drinking. It's a fun production. Your pint glasses represent your health points and you drink as you take damage. But to be honest, there's not much game here. Move a tile, flip it over, try to roll the die to beat the monster. That's about it. I got to play this game with the family that got it for me, so that was awesome, but now it's time to let this one go. Going back to the production, one cool thing about this game is that it uses plastic cards, since they expect there to be a lot of liquids on the table. They feel really nice in the hand and shuffle really well. I wish more publishers would adopt these. Next up, another classic that I've had for a long time, 7 Wonders. This was another one of the first board games I bought as I was venturing out from Settlers of Catan. I honestly got tired of 7 Wonders pretty quick, but I always kept it around since it's a pretty easy game to teach and supports a high player count with a lot of simultaneous action. But nowadays, I've got a lot of games for big group situations. And if you've watched my review of It's a Wonderful World, you'll know that that's a game which to me feels like a meatier version of 7 Wonders. So it's finally time to drop this one from the shelf. I even got the 7 Wonders Cities expansion as a gift at some point, so of course I'm letting this one go as well. Honestly, I'm not sure if I've ever even played this. It's just been sitting on the shelf gathering dust. Sure enough, the cards are still in the shrink wrap. This might be the biggest surprise, as it's one of my favorite of these games so far. In fact, 10 made my honorable mention in the top 10 new to me games of 2023. It's a fun little push your luck card game that's great for a lighter audience. But the reason I'm getting rid of this one is because Flip 7 has basically replaced 10 for me. They're certainly different games, but they feel similar enough. And more importantly, they fit the same type of people that I would play this with. I just don't ever see reaching for 10 over Flip 7 anymore. So time to say goodbye to 10. And finally, here's an old one that's been on the shelf forever. It even predates when I was a Catan player, Rummikub. With its chunky plastic tiles, this was always the ideal game to grab when you wanted to play something outdoors, and you don't have to worry about wind or a possible drizzle. But I just don't play this game anymore, so I'd rather have the shelf space. Well, there you have it, 10 games I'm culling from the shelf. Let me know if you like these kind of videos. I usually organize games into batches as they get close to the chopping block. I'm not sure if it's as interesting to hear about games I'm getting rid of as those new ones coming in. But if you like it, I'll try to keep these videos going every time I cull a set of games. And remember, just because I'm getting rid of these games doesn't make them bad games or games you should avoid. In most cases, these are great games that I've just had my fun with, and now it's time to move on. Hopefully, if there's anyone like me that has a hard time letting go of things, this video will help you find the motivation to clean up your collection as well. It feels really good to be making space on the shelf for more games. In fact, you might be asking if this means there's already some new games coming in that I'm specifically making room for. Well, for that, you'll have to stay tuned for the next video. Spoiler alert, yes, new games incoming. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time here on Board Game Casual.